Not long ago, we talked about a book called Diana Case Solved that was gonna change everything about the case of Princess Diana's death by bringing up new evidence. And if you guys remember, the book was accompanied by a podcast that was supposed to complete the whole package. Well, guess what? Now 2 episodes of the podcast are out, and I, for one, am in shock. Are you ready to find out what was revealed? Let's get to it then. So for the ones that don't know the story, I'm gonna give you a little bit of insight to find out the rest in our video previously. Okay, so apparently after all these years, a man has come forward claiming that he knows what really happened that day and is ready to break his silence. An investigative journalist, Dylan Howard, and ex-homicide cop, Colin McLaren, are the 2 people involved in the whole case with this man. The opening of the podcast and the things they talked about throughout the whole 35 minutes really broke my heart. It was like I was watching the extended version of Diana's famous interview where she said there were 3 of them in the marriage. There is a part in the very beginning that a lady says Charles and Diana's wedding was an arranged one, and everyone knew about it except for Diana, which makes total sense. Now I warn you, if you think this is sad, things get even more real as they go further. The actual story starts with Colin McLaren talking about how he got involved in the case of Lady Di independently and in the past with his team now. His objective, as he says, is to knock on as many doors and talk to as many faces and wear out as much shoe leather as he can to be able to find out some answers. Paul Burrell, Diana's personal butler, talked about how Diana acted as 2 different people. One the image that people saw and loved, and one behind closed doors. On the public stage, she was glorious, but in real life, she was miserable. No one could deny that Camilla was Charles' real love, but the problem was that Diana had fallen in love with her prince. Classic gaslight situation. Then her problems with bulimia started. She thought she looked fat even though she had the most beautiful and athletic figure. She was thinking if she loses weight, Charles would love her. But later, when she found out that nothing was working in her relationship with Charles, she decided to bury herself in charity work, which came with a lot of disapproval. There were whispers that she was meddling in political matters, but Diana herself had no idea what that was. She was delving in without even knowing it. As the feud between her and Charles became known to the public, things got even more difficult for Diana, and that is when she decided to go to the BBC to give her famous interview and talk about the agony of being in love with the man who wasn't in love with her. The same interview where she said there were 3 of them in the marriage and that she thought Charles was not ready to be a king. I mean, if this interview was in another century, there was even a possibility of getting executed for talking like that about the monarch. To no one's surprise, there was a huge interest in Diana's life, from the paparazzi and media to the secret services. It is said that the CIA even had a lengthy file on Diana, but no one knew why. Everything is a mystery in this case. The podcast later on fast forwards to the actual accident and Diana's relationship with Dodi. According to them, the crime scene was not treated like one at all. They took the Mercedes away from the scene soon after the accident, and the scene was cleaned from the evidence without being properly investigated. Just like that, washing it all away. But Diana knew she was going to be murdered. She thought she was being followed and was scared all the time. In her letter, Diana claims that she feared Charles was going to organize an accident in her car, that she was going to die from head injuries, and that this way was going to happen in order for him to marry Camilla easily. All of the evidence in the podcast suggests that there is more to Diana's death case than just a simple accident. Some suggest it had something to do with the roots of the family of her lover Dodi, but nothing is clear. There was also something about the white paint on Diana's car, meaning a car collided with the vehicle she was in, but no further explanation is given. But based on what I've read before, the driver of the white Fiat is the man who is going to finally speak out and reveal new information about the case, which might cause the case of Diana's death to be reopened. I can't say much more because there are only 2 episodes out, but I can't wait to find out what mysteries they're going to unravel. What do you guys think? Do you believe Diana was murdered? Let's talk about it in the comments, and remember to become part of our Curious Tips family by subscribing to our channel. Until next time.